Not everyone who enters your life comes to bring peace. Some people arrive with friendly smiles and gentle words, yet behind them lies an energy that quietly weighs your heart down. They never openly admit to manipulating, criticizing, or belittling you. Instead, they do it by making you doubt yourself. In a world where everyone knows how to act kind, toxicity no longer hides in words. It hides in how people make you feel after every conversation. There are apologies that don't come from remorse, but from a desire to maintain control. There are gestures of care that sound warm, but are really forms of manipulation wrapped in soft language. There are people who make you feel guilty simply because you dared to say no. And worst of all, there are those who know they're hurting you, but keep doing it, because that sense of power is the only thing that makes them feel alive. Those who truly understand themselves don't need to fight anyone. They don't waste energy trying to teach others a lesson, because they know every reaction is a kind of invisible chain. Instead of exploding or defending themselves, they step back not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. They observe, stay clear-minded, and withdraw their energy from places that no longer deserve it. When you stop playing someone else's game, you take away their stage. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are no longer dragged by the madness of others, you have already won without fighting." So in this video, we'll explore 8 clever ways to deal with toxic people, not to get even, but to reclaim your peace. Not to make you cold, but to help you see where the line of kindness should end. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't to forgive endlessly, but to finally say, enough. The first way Stoic philosophy teaches us to deal with toxic people is to forgive, but not forget. Some wounds don't bleed, yet they cut so deep that even time cannot erase them. They may no longer hurt, but every time you remember, a faint sting still touches your heart, as if the past is quietly brushing against you. People often say that time heals all wounds, but the truth is, time only dries them. Whether they truly heal depends on whether we're willing to let go or still clinging to what hurt us. Every one of us has been hurt by someone we never expected. A close friend, a former lover, or even a family member. The pain of betrayal doesn't lie only in the act itself, but in the feeling of being disrespected, deceived, and taken for granted. So we hold on to anger. We replay the details. We tell ourselves we'll never forgive. Yet the tighter we grip that resentment, the more trapped we become in our own emotions. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. If you forget, you'll step into the same trap again, repeating the same cycle of pain. Forgiveness lightens your heart. Remembering keeps it wise. It's like a scar on your skin. It no longer hurts, but it remains, reminding you of what you've overcome and what you've learned. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. Because to forgive, you must be strong enough to stop seeking emotional revenge, calm enough to release your need for an apology, and wise enough not to reopen the same wound. The Stoics never erased the past. They simply refused to let the past chain their present. They didn't carry grudges, but they also didn't foolishly hand out trust again. They chose to smile, to move on, and to carry the lesson in their hearts as a quiet reminder of where trust must end. To forgive is to free your soul. To not forget is to protect that freedom. And when you learn to do both, you realize that peace doesn't come when someone apologizes. It comes the moment you stop letting the wound control your life. The second way is to limit your exposure. Some people don't need harsh words to drain you. Their mere presence is enough to make the air feel heavy. You sit across from them, talk, listen, and when the conversation ends, you feel as though your energy has been quietly siphoned away. They don't yell or insult, but they exhaust your spirit with constant complaints, comparisons, and stories that never seem to end. It's like standing under a light drizzle, not enough to soak you, but long enough to chill you to the bone. In life, some relationships survive not because of love, but out of habit. We stay in touch not because we want to, but because we fear being seen as cold. We keep listening to their stories, even when we know each one costs us a bit of peace. And we comfort ourselves by saying, they probably don't mean it. But sometimes it's exactly that lack of intention that slowly kills your mind the most. The Stoics never cut off the world. They simply adjusted the distance. They understood that no one can disturb your inner stillness unless you open the door. Seneca once said, Choose the people you engage with as carefully as you would choose those you welcome into your home. Every time you let someone step past the boundary of your energy, you grant them the power to shape your mind, so choose wisely. Limiting your exposure doesn't make you cold, it makes you mature. Because kindness isn't always about being available. Sometimes it's about knowing when to withdraw to protect yourself. When you learn to keep the right distance, those who no longer belong will quietly fade away. No conflict, no farewell, just silence. And in that silence, peace returns. The next way is to use humor as a shield. Sometimes what destroys you isn't the insult itself, but the tension you create inside when you try to fight back against a toxic person. You enter the conversation like stepping into a battlefield building walls, tightening your chest, your words trapped behind your teeth. They throw out a sarcastic remark, and instantly you feel the urge to react, to defend, to prove yourself. But that only pulls you deeper into their game, a game where the one who talks more never truly wins. Toxic people don't thrive on logic, they thrive on reactions. They don't need you to be wrong, they just need you to lose your composure. Every time you get angry, they feel empowered, as if they've pressed the right emotional button in you. And the irony is, the harder you try to appear strong, the more you reveal how much power they still hold. There's a particularly dangerous type of person. They don't even have to go too far. They just drop a half-joking, half-cutting remark and sit back, watching as you burn yourself alive in your own anger. Humor is a special kind of armor. It doesn't strike back, but it makes the other person's arrows break before reaching your heart. It doesn't make you avoid the situation. It helps you stay calm in a softer, more graceful way. The Stoics never dismissed insults. They simply understood that angry reactions are a form of surrender. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like them," and sometimes a quiet smile is the most elegant way to say, "I'm operating on a higher level." However, humor is not mockery. It isn't meant to belittle others, but to elevate your own self-control. A gentle remark can soften the atmosphere, while a sarcastic one, no matter how accurate, still plants the seed of hostility. The Stoics chose to make situations smaller, not themselves more bitter. They understood that sometimes the wisest way to protect your dignity is to stop taking everything so seriously. Humor is also a test. When you use it, genuinely kind people will laugh with you. Toxic ones will freeze because they can't survive in lightness. They need tension, seriousness, and conflict to justify their presence. When you laugh, you take away the only energy they have to hurt you. It's a quiet kind of victory, but a complete one. The fourth way is knowing when to walk away. Not every battle needs a winner. Some only need someone willing to leave. We're often taught how to persevere, how to fix relationships, how to try a little harder, but almost no one teaches us how to end things. Out of fear of pain, loss, or being seen as a quitter, many people stay in relationships that have long since died, bodies without souls. They don't realize that sometimes leaving isn't failure, it's self-respect. Walking away isn't just physical distance, it's a mental decision. It begins the moment you realize you're no longer heard, no longer respected, no longer yourself when you're with someone. In that moment, your silence becomes your strongest voice. You don't need to argue, explain, or prove who's right. You just need to step away, because peace never needs to be fought for. In toxic relationships, people often get trapped in a cycle of hope, disappointment, and renewed hope. Each time they're hurt, they tell themselves, maybe next time will be different. But no one changes when they have no reason to. If your forgiveness becomes tolerance, you're teaching others they can keep hurting you without consequence. Staying is no longer kindness, it's self-abandonment. The Stoics never ran from pain, but they didn't remain in places that drained their spirit. They knew that some challenges require courage to face, while others require greater courage to let go. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If something no longer serves you, have the courage to let it go." A simple line, yet within it lies an art of living, the art of knowing when to hold on and when to walk away. Leaving isn't turning your back on others, it's returning to yourself. When you step out of a relationship that weighs down your heart, you lose nothing. You simply reclaim the peace you traded away for too long. Toxic people are experts at making you feel guilty for protecting yourself. They'll call you ungrateful, cold, or selfish. But the truth is, no one can truly love another when their own heart is still bleeding. Staying in a place that's slowly killing your spirit out of fear of hurting others, that's not compassion, that's fear dressed as kindness. True letting go doesn't make noise. It comes on an ordinary morning when you realize you no longer want to argue, to prove, or to hold on to what's already rotted. You just want to breathe again, to sleep peacefully, to live one day without the exhaustion called trying. In that moment, you understand silence can be its own goodbye, and peace doesn't need an audience. In every relationship, the one who dares to leave isn't heartless. They're clear-eyed enough to see that love can't redeem everything. Some things are meant to be saved, others are meant to end. And sometimes the greatest act of compassion isn't enduring, it's saying enough quietly, so both souls can finally be free. Surrounding yourself with positive people is also a way to protect yourself from toxic ones. No one is strong enough to stand forever in a negative environment. No matter how resilient you are, if you breathe in criticism, competition, and complaints every day, your spirit will eventually grow heavy. People often warn us to be careful about what we eat, but few remind us that the mind eats too, and it feeds on the company we keep. Humans are deeply influenced by one another. Your mood can lift after a few minutes with someone full of life, or sink after one encounter with someone who drains it. There are people who make you feel lighter when you leave them, and others who exhaust you without knowing why. Energy can't be seen, but it's always felt. With every meeting, you're either recharged or quietly emptied. The danger of negative people is that they convince you pessimism is realism. They speak of failure as inevitable, tell stories laced with cynicism, and little by little, you begin to think like them. Your world shrinks to fit their view. Your dreams get smaller to fit their limits. You stop hoping, stop believing, stop moving forward, not because you're weak, but because you've lived too long in a space where people fear the light. Positive people aren't those who always smile. They're those who don't let you forget the good within yourself. Around them, you feel seen, heard, and inspired to grow. They don't paint life in pink, but they help you see direction even in darkness. And most importantly, they never need to pull you down to feel taller. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and when it meets another soul, it blends like flame with flame." Positive people are those flames. They don't burn, they warm. They don't overshadow, they share their light. With them, you don't disappear, you shine. They don't demand that you become like them, they simply make you want to become better. While toxic people drain you, positive people revive you. Their presence isn't loud, but it spreads quietly. They make you want to read another page, do another kind deed, speak another honest word. That's not influence, it's resonance. When two souls move toward what's good, energy multiplies instead of being taken away. Choosing who to walk with is one of life's most important decisions. Not because you need someone to lean on, but because no one is strong enough to walk alone forever. The environment you choose is the mirror of your future. If you seek peace, walk with those who are peaceful. If you seek wisdom, stay close to those who live with honesty, clarity, and depth. Because in the end, we are shaped not only by what we hear, but by how we're treated. The sixth way is to refuse to play their game. Toxic people never show up to have a dialogue. They show up to manipulate. They don't seek truth, they seek reaction. Every word, gesture, and silence is designed to stir something in you: anger, guilt, confusion, or insecurity. When you react, they win. When you get angry, defend yourself, or try to prove you're right, you've already stepped onto their battlefield where every rule is written by them. And the cruel part is this: in that game, the more you try to stay in control, the faster you lose it. Some people are masters of chaos. They know how to mix truth with lies, how to say things vague enough to make you overthink. They read your emotions the way a hunter reads a heartbeat. The moment you waver, they control you through your own feelings. They don't strike with words, they strike with the silence between them. They don't shout, but they keep you awake at night. They don't touch you, but they leave your mind exhausted. Toxic people will always try to drag you down to their level because that's the only place they can win. They need your reaction, your anger, your emotional surrender. Only then can you play the same game. But the Stoics choose to stay still. They don't refrain from reacting out of arrogance, but out of understanding that reaction is the fastest way to lose inner freedom. They don't try to win, because in the game of the unwise, victory doesn't exist for those who refuse to play. Refusing to play doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity. Some things aren't worth debating, explaining, or losing your peace over. The Stoics never chase being understood because they know not everyone deserves access to your truth. They invest their energy where it multiplies and withdraw it where it only drains. No one can force you into battle if you lay down your sword. No one can wound you if there's no place left in your heart for the arrow to land. Serenity isn't indifference, it's awareness. It's knowing that reaction is your choice. And in that choice, you decide who gets to reach you and who stays outside your boundary. The seventh way is to stay focused on your purpose. When you don't know where you're going, every path looks tempting and every noise has the power to distract you. Toxic people understand this better than anyone. They don't need to attack directly. They only need to scatter your focus, make you react, make you stop, make you forget your own direction. They exist like headwinds, not strong enough to knock you down, but persistent enough to wear you out if you lose your center. People rarely lose themselves because of failure, they lose themselves because of distraction. Every day we wake up surrounded by noise. What others think, who's ahead, who's being praised, who's doubting us. These thoughts consume the mind until we're running endlessly without knowing what we're chasing. The Stoics chose another way. They live with purpose, and that purpose becomes their compass. When your mind holds on to your core values, all the superficial things naturally fall away. Focus doesn't mean indifference. It means knowing what deserves your attention. When you're clear about your destination, you don't need to argue with those walking the other way. You just smile and keep going. Because life doesn't reward the quickest reactor, it rewards the most consistent mover. In truth, there's no enemy more dangerous than distraction. It's sweet, it's reasonable, it always feels urgent, it pulls you off your path before you even realize you're lost. That's why the Stoics lived with the stillness of purpose. They didn't rush, they didn't multitask, they simply stayed devoted to what truly mattered. And in that steadiness, they found a strength greater than any reaction. Staying focused isn't just a skill, it's a philosophy. It forces you to choose. Either you live reacting to the world, or you live fulfilling what you were meant to do. The reactive follow the wind, the purposeful master direction. One seeks approval, the other seeks progress. And only one of those paths leads to freedom. The world will always have people trying to pull you down, test you, or make you doubt yourself. But when your direction is clear, their noise becomes small. Focus is how you protect your dreams, your energy, and the deepest parts of your soul. Finally, never speak ill of them. Some things that seem harmless can wound you more deeply than open insults, and gossip is one of them. We often think that talking about the injustice we've faced helps us vent, find sympathy, or lighten our hearts. But the more we speak, the heavier we become. Because every time you retell the story, you don't just remember the wound, you reopen it. While you believe you're letting go, you're actually keeping them alive inside your mind, word by word. Some conversations seem innocent, a bit of sharing, a few comments, a small complaint. But when you walk away, your mind feels cloudy, your spirit unsettled. Everything around you seems darker, because gossip doesn't just stain others, it stains the one who speaks. Like a mirror, the more toxic breath you blow upon it, the more blurred your own reflection becomes. Toxic people are cunning. They know your silence is a wall, and they'll try to break it by pulling you down to their level. They'll plant the urge to defend yourself, to tell your side, to set the record straight. They'll make you think that speaking about them is self-protection. But the moment you open your mouth, you've let them back into your mind. You're helping the very thing you wanted to forget. Some things are better left unsaid, not out of fear, but out of freedom. Silence cuts the final thread that ties you to their energy. Speaking keeps that thread alive. The Stoics understood that what you speak of most becomes what you think of most, and what you think of most becomes what you carry in your heart. So they chose silence not to forgive others, but to protect their peace. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is wisdom, the understanding that no words can make the unwilling understand. It's knowing that truth doesn't need to be shouted, it only needs to be lived. The Stoics never felt the need to justify themselves, because they knew every justification hides a trace of insecurity. When the heart is calm, words are no longer necessary. The Stoic doesn't need to prove superiority. They only need to avoid becoming small. They know not everything deserves a response. An insult doesn't require a reply. A rumor doesn't need correction. Time will do its work, and truth will find its way like a seed breaking through silent soil to reach the light. After all, toxic people are not the biggest problem in your life. The real problem is how much power you allow them to have over your mind. Some people hurt us not because they're powerful, but because we gave them that power. We let their words shape our emotions. Their presence invade the quiet spaces meant for our peace. And then we conclude that the world is full of bad people, forgetting that the only thing we can truly control is ourselves. Stoicism never promises that the world will be less cruel. It simply teaches you how to walk through it without being consumed. Stoics don't try to change others. They learn to change their own reactions. They don't expect kindness from those who lack it, nor do they measure fairness through resentment. They quietly adjust their inner world so that the outer one no longer has the power to shake them. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is this: no one can give you peace, and no one can take it away. Peace isn't out there. It's always been within you, waiting for your care, your protection, and your respect. Once you realize that, you no longer need to avoid anyone, prove anything, or fear anything. If what you heard today made you reflect on how you deal with others or how you treat yourself, share your thoughts in the comments. Every honest story is a mirror for someone who needs to see themselves more clearly. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss the next journeys where we'll continue to learn how to live slower, deeper, and steadier in a world that never stops moving.